Aaron in Durham, Connecticut. Welcome to the EIB network, sir. Hello.
How you doing, Rush? Megan Dittos.
Thank you very much, sir.
I just wanted to tell you, too, I was told to tell you I'm a Rush baby, so...
Well...
I wanted to tell you that today in class, and then also Wednesday, I go to Southern Connecticut State University, and I'm in a health class right now for educators for the school, and today we had a guest speaker, and on Wednesday we had a guest speaker who was a teacher's husband, who's a scientist. And he came in, and he told us all about how global warming is destroying the whole world.
Wait. I just want to understand this. You had a guest speaker who was the teacher's husband.
Yep, she's the teacher's husband.
Well, what's the teacher's husband do?
He's a scientist. She's a health teacher, and he's a quote-unquote scientist.
That means he's a fraud.
Exactly. That's what we're all saying. But he comes in, and he's showing us all these homemade charts that it looks like he drew himself. And he's like showing up on a projector, telling us how there's people. He listened to the radio on the way to school today. He told us, and there's actual people out there who don't believe in global warming. And it's not a question if it's out there. It does exist. He says there's more evidence than you can believe, and if you don't believe it, you might as well tell me you're standing on a flat earth. And we're sitting in class, we're looking at this guy, and he believes what he's telling us, and he doesn't think anyone else knows what happened with Saudi Arabians finding out about ClimateGate and the Russians, and he doesn't want to even believe any of it.
So what did you do? What was your reaction?
For most of us, we're trying to keep our powder dry and just get to the end of the year and not get a failing grade by telling the teacher her husband's a fraud.
Yeah, you guys are being propagandized.
Yeah,
you're being maleducated.
Yeah, but it's the whole thing with my generation. We're getting taught in school by the baby boomers. It's all the educators and the liberals who are taking. I'm 20 years old. So I've been in high school. I live in Connecticut, so I'm with liberals all around me. There's hardly any conservatives. I'm surrounded by liberals. My friends are all liberal. Everyone's liberal. And you have to deal with her hearing FDR, and the New Deal is great, and now the new thing is climate change.
Aaron, how old are you out there?
I'm 20 years old.
20 years old. God bless you. God love you. You have the guts to at least know you're being lied to.
Well, I've had good teachers. I've had you to listen to my whole life. I had my father's a diehard fan of yours, and he's got me into you. And I've become addicted to conservative talk and conservative thought and everything.
Well, here's the thing. And if this ever happens again, I'm sure it will, because this is one of the most propagandized subjects in school. I have never said the Earth isn't warming or cooling, because I think it's always changing. The thing I disagree with is that we're causing either. We don't have the power. We simply just do not have the power. And furthermore, Aaron, progress is what they are blaming for causing all this disaster. Progress. We have a bunch of demented people who think, stop and think of this for a second. Here is their vanity. And I'll give them, for this argument, I'll give them props, and I'll concede the notion that they actually do believe this, that they're not part of the ideological cabal that's trying to propagandize this. Some people do truly believe this. If they do, look at their vanity. Whatever length of time human beings have been on this earth, our time on it can be measured smaller than a grain of sand. Smaller than a grain of, microscopically smaller than a grain of sand. That's how insignificant the world's population at any one time is. Or you can narrow it even further, that's how insignificant in the complexity of the universe, including this planet and its climate, that the population of the United States is. And yet these people in their vanity believe somehow that the environment as it is now, when they happen to be roaming the planet, is pristine and perfect, and that it must not change. The environment must not change. This is pristine. Now, how absurd, how silly, how utterly vain to believe that, and how utterly stupid to believe that something as complex as simple day-to-day weather, which changes, and that we have no say-so over. How can they believe that something far more complex than just the day's weather, the entire climate, is constant and should never change. And if it is change, it's a crisis. It's changing. It's a crisis. And then blame it on us. I mean, you got so many people in this hoax. You've got some who really believe. I mean, it's almost religious-like that God is the environment, and we better not mess with it. We better not tamper with it. It must not change. Then you've got the ideological hoaxers who are responsible for creating the kind of people your teacher and her husband, the scientist, are. And I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, Aaron. They could just as well be intellectually aware of what's going on here and that they're participating in a hoax because they're just liberal hacks. But not everybody who believes in this is an ideological liberal hack. Some people really do think the polar bears are dying. They're really scared to death over this. Is what I think one of the near criminal things about this is this is terrorism. This is jihadism, environmental jihadism that is being perpetrated on the people around the world for a political belief. A quick time out. We'll be back and continue in mere moments.